Welcome to your practice. We'll begin on our backs, so make yourself comfortable and start with your knees bent and your feet settled and grounded on your mat. Take a few steadying breaths here. And allow your shoulders to tuck back and down. Plant your hands onto the mat, spread your toes, and roll up into bridge posture. Continue to roll up and down with the pace of your breathing. Imagine that you're squeezing a yoga block between your knees and feel the strength and stability in your legs. If you'd like, you can add some arms, reaching them up and overhead to the ground behind you each time that you lift your hips and pelvis, and then bringing them back down to the earth beside you as you peel your spine back onto the mat. Continue to flow up and to peel back down. We'll do one more. And then keep your hands on the floor beside you as you lift up into bridge. Plant one foot on the ground and stretch the opposite leg up, hinging from your hip to lower and lift 3 times. When you're finished, bend the knee of that lifted leg and return your foot to the earth. Switch sides, stretching the opposite leg up and hinging down and lifting up. Make sure your shoulders stay back and your hips stay lifted as you lift and lower 3 times and then return your foot to the ground. Stretch that original leg back up, keep it lifted, and just drop and lift your entire pelvis now. The leg will stay stretched up, foot towards the ceiling, as you lift and lower your hips 3 times. And then switch. We'll do that one more time on this side, lifting and lowering your hips as your foot stays stretched up towards the ceiling. Bring both feet back down to the earth. Take one last lift of the hips, and then return down to the ground, rolling out of your bridge. Stretch your right leg up towards the ceiling and point and flex your foot. And take a circle in each direction, stretching your hamstrings and your calves. And then switch sides, pointing and flexing your left foot and circling the ankle once in each direction. When you're ready, begin to alternate these long-legged stretches, one movement with each inhale, one movement with each exhale. Moving at your own breath rhythm, letting your breath be your guide. When you're feeling even and balanced, draw your knees into your chest, and then stretch both legs out onto the floor and reach your arms up and overhead. We're going to roll up to a seated staff posture, so reach towards the ceiling and then hinge forward into a gentle forward bend. Reach back up to extended staff and then tuck and roll all the way back down to the earth. For some strong core work. Roll up again. Hinge and reach forward. Lift up to extended staff. And then peel back down to the earth. If this all feels like a little too much, feel free to use a grip behind one knee to help lever yourself up. And then you can grip behind your knee again to guide yourself back down. We'll do a couple more. Reaching up to extended staff, reaching forward, lifting up, rolling down. Lift up, reach forward, and this time we'll stay here and take a few breaths in our forward fold. Eventually, look forward and slowly hinge back up from your hips to a seated position. Move in and out of this seated halfway lift at your own breath rhythm, sliding your hands up and down the shins. Or, for a deeper option, you can hold on to the bottoms of your feet, flexing your feet to lift halfway and pressing out into the balls of your feet and into your hands as you deepen the folds. Continue through a few more of these half lifts, really warming up the backs of the legs and the lower back. And eventually pause in a deep forward bend, taking a breath. When you're ready, come back to a seated staff posture and take a wider position with your legs. Bring your hands to the space between your inner thighs, and then reach all the way up towards the ceiling and add a twist. Reach back up overhead and twist to the opposite side, bringing one hand behind you like a kickstand and the other hand in front. You might inhale as you reach up to the center and exhale each time that you revolve. Continue to follow your own breath rhythm. Doing just one more in each direction. And when you're feeling even and balanced, making your way back to center, come back to the center. And tipping your pelvis forward into a gentle fold. Slowly begin to hinge forward. We're going to take some half lifts from here. So begin to deepen your forward fold and then straighten your arms to lift up. Your forearms might come to the ground and then lift your elbows off the floor, lengthening your spine. Exhale as you fold, and inhale as you lengthen. Just taking a couple more of these, really warming up the backs of the legs and the inner thighs. Eventually, walk your hands in close to your torso and bring your feet back in to the space of your mat. We're going to get ready for a little tip back into boat posture. And keep our feet on the ground and simply hinge backwards, tipping the pelvis back, tipping the whole torso back, and then shifting forward again. You can keep going just like this, or if you'd like a little more challenge, lift your feet up off the ground and squeeze in, and then stretch out, tucking tighter and then lengthening, bending and unbending the knees. When you're finished, cross your ankles and roll forward, making your way to a tabletop position. We'll move right into a spinal balance, reaching right arm and left leg out. And then switching, left arm and right leg outstretched. This time, we'll bring the right elbow towards the left knee, adding a little abdominal curl. Then stretch back out and return to tabletop. Switch sides, curl in, stretch out, and return. Reach out. This time we'll do a couple of curls, squeezing in and stretching out. Other side, squeeze in, stretch out. Right arm and left leg, squeeze in, squeeze again, and one more time. Then reach back out and return to tabletop. We'll do that triple set on the other side, reaching out, squeezing in, rounding your back, lengthen out, curl in. Inhale as you reach, and exhale as you round. Stretch out, and return to tabletop. When you're ready, release back to your child's posture. From here, we'll make our way slowly into downward facing dog. So feel a connection to your mat with your hands, spreading your fingers and tucking your toes. Pull back to downward facing dog. And when you're ready, begin to shift forward into a high plank. Use your abdominal strength to pull back to downward facing dog. And keep shifting between those two postures. Plank to downward dog. Once again, move with your own breath, finding the rate and the rhythm that feels just right to your body today. We're going to take this up a little bit by lifting the right leg and then drawing the knee in towards the upper arm. Stretch the right leg up in downward facing dog and then bring the knee towards your elbow as you shift to plank. Reach up and again, tap the elbow with your knee and reach up and return to your downward facing dog. We'll do the same thing on the other side, lifting the left leg up and then shifting forward to plank, curling the knee in towards the upper arm. Reach up, bring the left knee in towards the left elbow, reach up, curl forward again, really pressing the earth away, and reach up for the last time, return to downward facing dog. Take a breath. When you're ready, look towards the top of your mat and step forward, taking a half lift and then coming into a nice deep forward fold. You might even opt to step onto your hands here. Padahastasana, hands to feet posture. Take a few breaths, allowing the crown of your head to sink down towards the earth with every exhalation. Step off of your hands when you're ready and reach all the way back up to extended mountain, bringing your hands to the center of your chest and preparing to finish our deep warm-up with some sun salutations. On an inhalation, reach up towards the ceiling and then exhale to slowly hinge down to your forward fold. Look forward and step back with your right foot and follow with your left to make your way to plank. Shift forward, hover down to chaturanga, lift up to upward facing dog, and pull back with that strong abdominal strength to downward facing dog. Take a lift of your right leg and step forward to lunge. Follow with the left, taking a half lift, and then take your bow. Forward fold. Press into your feet and reach all the way up to extended mountain, returning your hands to the front of your chest. We'll reach up again, doing the exact same thing, leading the whole time with the left foot. So forward bend, step your left leg back, and follow with the right, making your way from plank forward to hover down, come to the tops of your feet for upward dog, and then pull back to downward facing dog. Stretch your left leg up into the air and step forward, coming to your half lift and forward fold. Soften your knees to press with strength all the way up to extended mountain, and then return to your mountain posture. Reach up and lower down. Step back with your right foot and then with your left, and shift forward, moving through your vinyasa, just like we've done so far. We'll meet in downward facing dog, and this time we'll add a little challenge by lifting the right leg and then crossing the body to tap the left elbow. Lift it up again and add that little oblique twist to tap your left elbow. One more time, reaching up, bringing the knee through, and then reach the right leg up, and this time step it forward to lunge. Follow with the left leg, taking your half lift, and then settle down into your forward bend. Press all the way up to extended mountain, and release back to Tadasana, mountain posture. We'll do one more sun salutation like that with the added oblique work. Reach up and fold down. Step back with your left leg and then with your right, shifting forward, hovering down, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and then we'll lift the left leg up towards the ceiling. Cross the body, move your knee towards your right elbow, and then lift up again. 2 more like that. Stretch the leg up, then draw your knee towards your elbow. Stretch up, and then step all the way forward to your lunge. Follow with a half lift and take a bow. Press in and rise all the way up to extended mountain, bringing your hands to heart center and taking a moment here to notice how you feel. When you're ready, reach up and lower down to your forward bend. Make your way back to downward facing dog, and then lower your knees to the ground, moving into child's posture and taking a deep, full cycle of breath, expanding that breath into the back of your body. When you're ready, tuck your toes and lift back to downward facing dog. Take a lift of your right leg and step your foot all the way out into your wide lizard lunge. Take a few breaths here. And then begin to tuck your right arm underneath your right knee. Start to edge your right foot forward, coming into half firefly. And then you might even try tipping forward, tucking your left elbow underneath your pelvis and coming into Kaundinyasana. When you feel finished there, come back to your lizard lunge and then step or reach your right leg back to downward facing dog. Take a breath, and then we'll do that all on the other side. Lifting your left leg up and stepping into your wide lunge, your lizard lunge. Pause here for a moment, trying to really lower the torso down. And then tuck your left arm underneath your left leg. Start to lift up your left foot, and then see if you can tuck your right elbow underneath your right hip and find some balance. When you've had enough, lower back, and either step back to your downward facing dog or take a leg lift on the way. Rest in child's pose, taking a moment to recover and check in. When you're ready, tuck your toes and make your way back to downward facing dog, stepping forward to the front of your mat and sweeping all the way up to extended mountain. Bring your hands to heart center. And we're going to get ready for a side crow and potentially even some other variations from there. So when you're ready, lower all the way down past chair until your hands can make it to the ground. Bring your hands off to one side and create a shelf with your elbows by bending them. Drop your chest low and lift your legs up. You might even try stretching your bottom leg forward and your top leg back, creating a scissor shape. Eventually bring the feet back together and back down to the earth. We're going to try that exact same thing on the other side. So walk your hands off to the side, creating a shelf with your elbows and tipping down into your side crow. Edge your feet out so that you can lift up, find that counterbalance, and then scissor the legs. Your bottom leg will go forward, your top leg will go back. Bring it all back together and return. When you're finished, bring your knees to the earth and rest in child's posture. After all of that arm balancing, it might feel good to take some figure eights with your wrists. Make sure you try going in both directions. And then make your way into a tabletop position. We're going to refocus here with a little bit of cat-cow. So move with your own breath's rhythm, gently back bending, and then rounding your spine. Inhaling and exhaling. When you're feeling complete, tuck your toes and pull back to downward facing dog. Look towards the front of your mat and make your way forward into a half lift and a forward fold. Circle sweep all the way up to extended mountain, and then bring your hands to heart center into mountain posture. Get really strong and steady here, feeling rooted and anchored, and then begin to lift one leg up. You can hold your shin with both hands and just stay right here. Or you can reach down underneath the arch of your foot with both hands and try to stand up really tall from here. Or you could even try straightening out that top leg and adding a little forward bend. When you're finished, come back, release that leg, and come all the way to mountain. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, bringing the opposite knee up. You might choose to just stick right here, holding onto your shin. Or grip the bottom of your foot, trying to stay really long through your standing leg and through your spine. If you'd like to try lengthening your leg out, go for it. Maybe even add a little hinge down, bending your elbows and bringing your head a little bit closer to your knee. Rebend, stand up tall, regrip the shin, and then release back down to your mountain. Both feet on the earth, feeling strong and secure. From here, we'll reach all the way up and lower down into a forward bend. You can take any forward fold of your choice, but a particularly deep one involves bringing the heels of the feet together, stepping onto your hands, and bringing the forearms behind the calves. So if you're looking for a super deep stretch today, you might try this option. Take one more breath here, and if you are standing on your hands, release them now and make your way back to downward facing dog. We'll shift forward to plank and then hover all the way down to the ground. We're going to make our way from here into Sphinx posture. So bring your elbows just about underneath your shoulders. And lift the chest and your gaze, taking a nice supported back bend here. You can stay right here for the whole time, or if you didn't get enough core work yet, begin to round your back, lifting up onto your knees, and then return to Sphinx. Round your back like in cat stretch, and then lower your hips and pelvis to the ground, back to Sphinx. One more time like that, rounding, pressing into the forearms, and then lowering the pelvis down and lifting. You can stay with that kneeling option or up the intensity by lifting the knees as you round. And then lifting up to Sphinx, coming to the tops of your feet, pressing up, and then lifting the chest into Sphinx. We'll do one more of those, lifting up, rounding everything, and then returning to the ground, coming back to Sphinx posture. When you're ready, bring your hands back by your ribs and press all the way back to child's. We're going to transition now into a seated position, coming to staff posture, and then drawing your right knee in, and then externally rotating so that you face the long edge of your mat for revolved head to knee pose. Bring your left hand down and catch your right hand either behind your back or behind your head, or you might reach up and over to hold your bottom thumb or even the outside edge of your foot. Take a few breaths here, revolving your top ribs open towards the ceiling. When you're finished, return to an upright seated position and simply switch, bringing the opposite foot to the inner thigh, reaching your arms into a T, and then taking that nice deep lateral flexion to the opposite direction. As you stretch over to the side, revolve your top ribs towards the ceiling. Keep your hand behind your head or reach up and over to grab your thumb or the side of your bottom foot. When you're ready, release and make your way back to an upright seated position. We'll transition now into a straight-on head-to-knee pose, Janu Shirshasana. Bring your right foot against your inner thigh and slowly tilt your pelvis forward. Allow your spine to lengthen and then come into a gentle forward flexion, drawing the top of your head closer to the foot of the outstretched leg. This allows us to set right up for a deep hamstring stretch in heron posture. Bring your right foot along the side of your body and hug your opposite knee in close. If you'd like to deepen this, try stretching your left foot up towards the ceiling and holding on behind your calf or around your foot. Stay strong and engaged through your abdominals. And when you've had enough, release everything back out into seated staff posture. We'll transition now into head to knee pose on the other side. So, draw the opposite foot in, tip your pelvis forward, and lengthen out over your outstretched leg. Allow your body to release a little deeper with each out-breath. Eventually, tip your torso back up. Wrap your left foot around to the side of your hip. Draw your right shin in or stretch the right leg up, reaching your heel and the ball of your foot up towards the ceiling. Take another breath here. And when you're ready to release, do so slowly, bringing your foot back down to the earth. Return to a seated staff posture. Begin to draw your knees in close to your chest and find balance perched on your sitting bones. You can even hug your arms all the way around and hold your opposite elbow with your opposite hand. Or grab your big toes or the backs of both legs and stretch your feet towards the ceiling again. This is called upward facing back stretched out posture. And it's kind of like a boat pose, but we're trying to draw the chest and the belly close to the thighs. Keep sitting up tall and engage your abdominal muscles to hold. When you're ready, lower back down, bringing your feet to the floor. After all of that hard work, we're going to end our practice with a restorative posture. Scooch over to your closest wall and lift one hip up onto the wall. From that tilted position, roll onto your back. This will allow your legs to rest against the wall without too much scooching and moving. If you need to edge in a little bit closer for support, go ahead. Allow your shoulders to melt back and down, and your legs to become heavy and settled against the wall. This is a really restorative and calming position, so you might choose to stay here for the duration of your practice. If you feel like you'd prefer to rest in a traditional final relaxation position, feel free to transition to your side and then make your way there at any time. You might also like to stop this video and pause for 5 or 10 minutes to rest. Whenever you've had enough time to restore and recover, roll gently over to one side and place your top hand on the earth for support. When you feel ready to return to a seated position, press into the ground and make your way up slowly, coming to a comfortable seat with an upright spine. Take a moment here to notice the effects of your practice and to allow your attention to return to your breath. Thank you for practicing with me, and have a wonderful day or a beautiful evening. Namaste.